Welcome to our play this week. As we take a look at the play and we'll come back and break this play down, this is where we try to make the right call on these plays for our high school football officials out there. This is a learning educational video. The play this week has a lot of parts to it we're going to break down. Important part is communication, communication. Now, let's take a look first here at the quarterback number 16 I've highlighted. Watch his action. There's that clap. So, is that enough to call a false start? Well, if we look at the case book and the rule book, we could definitely support a marker down for a false start because it talks about, and Rule 7 talks about any act is clearly intended to cause B to encroach. And we see this a lot from the quarterbacks, that hard clap. And so the question here is now also we can look at is if B would encroach, we need to have that conversation. We have that communication of are we going to call it on the defense or are we going to call it on the offense? And that's very important. But again, that action is supported if we decide to rule that clap by that quarterback is simulating and causing a false start. It is definitely supported if we put a marker down on this play. Now let's get into the second part we want to talk about here as we watch this play from the sideline line judge view. We can see our umpire does a really good job here at getting his marker down on this play. And what do we have? Well, let's take a look at it from the end zone view. And we will clearly see what we have on this play is we have a lineman. 57 there goes downfield. Two things. He's downfield, number one. Number two, you also got to keep in mind is if he's blocking downfield. I don't think this is close enough to consider him blocking downfield at the time of the pass, but that's just something that we have to keep in the back of our mind to think about. And we can see right here, 57 goes downfield, right there, downfield, and there goes the pass. And we're looking for that ball to go beyond the line of scrimmage as it does. Now, we see here's our line of scrimmage at the 49. So he's entitled to 2 yards. We can see 57 here is clearly 5 yards or more downfield on this play. So this is a good job here by the umpire recognizing this and getting a marker down. We can see here at the end, 57, I think, is a little confused on the play because he kind of puts his hands out like maybe that wasn't supposed to happen. All right, second part here, number 50 that I highlighted in blue. You can see we get a marker down from our referee for holding here. And so we have a definite good job here by the referee recognizing this. We have a couple things here. We obviously have that defensive player right here starts to breach that blocking of the offensive line. And when you have that, we need to kind of focus on that because that's potentially where these types of holds can occur. And we can see right here, the offensive player is on the wrong side of the defensive player, right? And so that should be kind of an indicator too that offensive player is no longer blocking. He's on the wrong side, so he can't really be blocking. So what's restricting him? Well, it was the grab here. As you'll see a little close up, you can see that right arm come out right there. A little bit of grab jersey. That's a restriction on that defensive player. And it's right there in front of our passer. So definitely support the call of holding on this because we've got that restriction. See where that offensive player, he's not on the right side for blocking. He's on the backside of that defensive player. And that's where you get that grabbing, and that's where we need to look and focus on that. So good job here by the referee of getting this call hold. All right, let's look at one more thing in this play that we could look at as a potential penalty. And it's going to involve Rule 7, Section 5, and where it talks about it's legal for player to conserve time or yardage by throwing the ball incomplete if the following. The player possessed the ball outside the lateral boundary lines of the free blocking zone, which I have slightly indicated here with the gold lines. As a reference point, pass reaches the neutral zone, goes beyond, and the passer is the only player who possessed the ball when the snap ends. So you can see my reference lines, which are approximate as far as the free blocking zone on the screen to give us a reference point. so that we have something to kind of utilize of where approximately our free blocking zone is. Now, a good rule of thumb here is as a referee, you can say if the quarterback takes 3 steps either way. Now we can see the quarterback has the ball, so he's the passer. He has possessed it, and now he throws it. Now, he clearly didn't take 3 steps, maybe 1.5. And I know we're not exact here, but he did not get outside that free blocking zone, those lateral boundary lines. So he's not outside those lines. So he can't intentionally throw the ball away or ground it legally. He's got to be throwing the ball now to a location where we have what we would consider an eligible receiver. And as we see here, so again, we meet the first criteria. He is the passer and he possessed the ball. And when we look at the other angle here, we see the ball does get beyond our neutral zone, but he only gets 1.5 steps and then he throws the ball away. So that means he doesn't meet the 3 criteria for Rule 7, Section 5, where it talks about the exceptions to grounding the ball. So now we have to look at this play and we have to ensure that our crew judges that we have an eligible receiver in the area. Not the ineligible receiver, an eligible receiver. And that's where this angle comes in, our sideline view on this play, where we can see the player on the far side, on the head linesman's side, right on the 50-yard line. That is going to be our player that, if you watch, goes downfield. Now, as he stops right here, where the ball's being thrown by our quarterback back at the 46, we can see where our receiver is, and he's at least 20 yards downfield from the line of scrimmage. And so now we got to judge, do we judge that to be that the receiver is in the area that he's throwing to? And that's where our head linesman and our back judge are going to have to work together potentially to determine, as we see this ball go out of bounds about 5 yards beyond the line of scrimmage. So that means that player's 15 yards away about. And so this is where communication comes in, because we got to let the referee know we may have intentional grounding. So that referee's got to get that spot, which here is about the 46 where he throws this ball. Because this, remember, intentional grounding is 5 yards from the spot of the foul and a loss of down, and this was a 1st and 10 play. So if we go back 5 from the 46, that'd put us on the 41 if we called it, and then loss of down would be 2nd down. So this is where the crew, the back judge and the head linesman, may need to communicate on this. Let the referee know what you're talking about, that you may have an intentional grounding here, so the referee can get the spot, because we may have a flag coming out, after the discussion here. So it's really important, the communication part there, really important letting the referee know. As we come back to this play and slow it all down just to assess everything, this play involves quality communication from the entire crew. The crew must work together. We had the potential here on this play for a possible false start by the quarterback. Then we had the ineligible lineman downfield, which the umpire put a marker down for. Then we had the holding call that the referee made. And then we had the potential for an intentional grounding on this play. This play is perfect for crew communication to get the call correct and also proper penalty enforcement. Hey, thanks for taking the time to watch this video for this week. Hope it was helpful. Hope it encouraged you to have quality crew communication and work together.